Tonight, we'll wander into one of the most extraordinary worlds on Earth, the realm of bugs and insects. It is a hidden civilization that stretches from the forest floor to the edge of the sky.
Older than the first forests and more numerous than the stars above. Beneath every leaf and inside every breath of air, they work in quiet harmony, shaping the planet in ways we rarely see but always depend on. They pollinate the food we eat, recycle the fallen forests, and fill the air with patterns of motion and color. Some light up in the night, some farm their own crops, and others navigate by the stars.
In their world, strength takes 1,000 forms, and intelligence hides in the smallest of minds. If you enjoy these quiet journeys, I invite you to like, subscribe, or share a thought below. It helps others find their way here too, one sleepy soul at a time. But for now, all you need to do is breathe. Let your eyes grow heavy and let the gentle world of wings and whispers carry you into sleep. Soft, wondrous, and still. Let's begin. There are more insects on Earth than stars in the Milky Way. The scale of insect life is beyond imagination. Scientists estimate that there are quintillions of individual insects alive at any moment, a number so vast it eclipses the stars in our galaxy.
Beneath every patch of soil, inside every fallen log, and within every gust of warm air, they thrive in endless variety. Each handful of earth might hold thousands of hidden lives, teeming, eating, building, and transforming the planet grain by grain. Insects outnumber humans by billions to one, and their combined weight once rivaled all other animals on land.
They are not a side story of life on Earth. They are its foundation. Their existence reminds us that the world is not shaped by the large and powerful, but by the small and persistent, working quietly in unison across the continents, unseen yet unstoppable. Ants have colonies that function like superorganisms. Ants are astonishing in their unity. A colony can contain thousands or even millions of individuals, yet it behaves as if it were a single living body. Each ant has a specific role. Some gather food, some care for the young, others guard the entrances or tend to the queen. No single ant commands the rest. Instead, they communicate through scent trails and chemical signals, forming a living network of coordination.
When one ant finds food, the colony responds. When danger strikes, they move as one. Together, they build vast underground cities with intricate tunnels and chambers, each perfectly ventilated and organized. Their teamwork rivals the efficiency of the human brain, with each ant like a neuron in a greater intelligence.
To watch them is to witness a kind of collective consciousness, ancient and precise, a reminder that cooperation can be as powerful as strength itself. Some butterflies taste the air with their feet. A butterfly's world is shaped not only by color and light, but by the invisible chemistry of the air itself.
On their slender legs lie tiny receptors that can detect the faintest traces of nectar, sap, or the chemical signature of a host plant. When a butterfly lands on a leaf, it is tasting it through its feet, determining whether it is the right place to lay eggs. This sense is so sensitive that a butterfly can detect sugar dissolved in water as weak as a few drops in a swimming pool.
To them, each surface holds a story, what it offers, what it hides, what life might grow from it. Their wings are for beauty and flight, but their feet are for knowing, connecting them to the world with exquisite precision. Every landing is a conversation with the landscape, carried out in the silent language of chemistry.
Dragonflies can see nearly 360 degrees around them. Dragonflies live in a world made of motion. Their enormous compound eyes wrap almost completely around their heads, each containing tens of thousands of lenses. This gives them a panoramic view so complete they can track movement in nearly every direction at once.
They can see colors beyond human vision, including ultraviolet light, and perceive motion with breathtaking accuracy. To a dragonfly, a mosquito's wing beat is not a blur, but a visible rhythm, a pattern they can predict and intercept mid-air. Their hunting success rate is among the highest in the animal kingdom because their vision is almost predictive.
It allows them to sense where their prey will be before it gets there. Watching a dragonfly dart across a pond is watching pure precision in motion, guided by an ancient design that makes them among the most skilled aerial hunters ever to evolve. Beetles make up a quarter of all known animal species.
The story of life on Earth could almost be told through beetles. There are more than 400,000 described species, each uniquely adapted to its environment. Some glitter like jewels, others are built like tanks, and a few live in places where almost nothing else can survive. Their diversity is so staggering that when a scientist once asked why nature created so many kinds of living things,
Another replied, half joking, that the creator must have had an inordinate fondness for beetles. They burrow through soil, glide beneath bark, swim underwater, and feed on everything from pollen to dung to decay. Their armor-like shells and intricate wings have inspired artists, engineers, and even robotic designs.
every beetle, no matter how small, carries a piece of the planet's story, a legacy of endurance written in chitin and color that stretches back hundreds of millions of years. Bees communicate by dancing in the dark. In the secret twilight of a hive, bees share maps of the world using movement alone.
A worker bee that finds a new patch of flowers returns and begins a dance on the honeycomb. The pattern of her steps, the direction she faces, and the speed of her waggling body all tell her sisters where to fly and how far. This dance language is one of the most sophisticated forms of communication in the animal kingdom. Other bees gather around her, touching her with their antennae to feel the rhythm and decode the message. Together, they navigate using the sun's position, even when clouds hide it from view. Each dance carries not just information, but purpose, food, survival, and the pulse of the hive itself. Within the darkness of the comb, they create a living geometry of motion and meaning.
A conversation written entirely in movement. Fireflies create light using a perfectly efficient chemical reaction. When the firefly glows, no energy is wasted as heat. Its light is produced by a reaction between oxygen, calcium, and a compound called luciferin, all orchestrated within the tiny lantern of its abdomen.
This reaction is 100% efficient, something human technology still struggles to match. The rhythm of a firefly's glow is both communication and courtship, a coded signal that can attract a mate or warn off predators. In some places, thousands gather in synchronized harmony, lighting up the forest like a breathing constellation.
Each flash is a whisper of biochemistry, turning life itself into a source of illumination. For millions of years, they have lit the warm air of summer nights, tiny alchemists converting simple molecules into radiance, reminding us that even the smallest creatures can hold the secret to nature's most elegant designs. Termites build air-conditioned cathedrals of clay.
Termite mounds are living architectures, breathing structures that manage air, heat, and humidity with astonishing precision.
Some towers reach heights taller than a person. Yet every chamber inside is tuned to the needs of the colony. Warm air rises through vents, cool air flows in from below, and the mound maintains a steady temperature even under the burning sun.
No single termite understands the blueprint, but together they build as if guided by collective instinct. The design is so efficient that engineers have studied termite mounds to inspire self-cooling buildings. Inside, a single queen may lay thousands of eggs each day, while workers tend to fungus gardens and young larvae.
The mound becomes a living machine, perfectly balanced between chaos and order. Created entirely from earth, saliva, and time, it is one of nature's grandest architectural miracles, built by creatures barely the length of a grain of rice. Some wasps turn other creatures into living hosts for their young.
Among the strangest behaviors in the insect world lies the strategy of the parasitic wasp. A female will find a caterpillar or spider, sting it just enough to paralyze it, and lay her eggs inside. The host remains alive, but helpless, a living cradle for the larvae that will hatch within. As they grow, the young feed carefully, avoiding vital organs to keep their host alive until the moment they emerge. It is a chilling yet remarkable display of evolutionary precision, nature's balance between creation and destruction. Many parasitic wasps target pest insects, and their existence keeps entire ecosystems in check. They are both executioners and guardians, shaping populations quietly through their deadly choreography. Within their delicate bodies lives a logic as ancient as the earth itself. The instinct to ensure life continues, even through the most haunting of means. Cicadas can sleep underground for more than a decade before emerging. Beneath the roots of forests and fields, cicadas live a long and patient childhood. For 13 or sometimes 17 years, they feed in darkness, silently waiting for the right season to rise.
Then, all at once, millions emerge into the light, transforming the landscape into a chorus of sound. Their synchronized appearance is one of nature's most extraordinary timing acts, thought to be an evolutionary trick to overwhelm predators. After years beneath the soil, their lives above ground last only a few fleeting weeks.
They sing, they mate, and they leave behind the next generation to begin the long cycle again. Every shell clinging to a tree, every shimmering song in the warm air is part of a rhythm that is played for millions of years. A reminder that even the briefest lives can be part of something vast and enduring.
Among insects, the praying mantis stands apart with an almost unsettling intelligence. It is one of the very few capable of turning its head from side to side, sometimes nearly behind itself. This gift of movement gives it a panoramic awareness of its surroundings. Its large compound eyes can detect motion hundreds of times faster than the human eye, while 3 smaller eyes help it gauge light and distance.
A mantis spends hours motionless, its folded forelegs poised like hands in prayer. Yet the instant prey comes within reach, it strikes with lightning precision. Watching one tilt its head toward you feels uncanny, as though it is aware of being seen. The mantis lives in a world of stillness and calculation, a predator wrapped in patience, existing somewhere between beauty and danger, where silence itself becomes the perfect hunting strategy.
The monarch butterfly migrates thousands of miles using an internal compass. Every year, fragile monarch butterflies travel across an entire continent, guided by an inner map written in sunlight and magnetism. Beginning in the northern regions of the United States and Canada, they glide southward, crossing mountains, rivers, and deserts to reach the mountain forests of central Mexico.
When they arrive, millions cluster together in the cool, high forests, their orange and black wings turning the trees into living tapestries of endurance, beauty, and instinctive navigation. Some beetles can survive being eaten and crawl out alive. In one of nature's strangest feats of survival, certain beetles can endure the unimaginable.
The journey spans thousands of miles, yet no single butterfly completes the full round trip. It takes several generations to continue the migration cycle, with each one somehow knowing the path as though the memory were inherited. Their wings are paper-thin, yet they carry a strength that defies fragility. Scientists believe they use the position of the sun and Earth's magnetic field to orient themselves, adjusting instinctively to stay on course.
It can take off instantly in any direction, adjusting its grip and balance with perfect precision. Scientists studying the mechanics of this feat have drawn inspiration for new adhesive materials and climbing robots. What appears to be an ordinary nuisance at a window is in fact a marvel of natural engineering.
The flies' effortless defiance of gravity shows that evolution's solutions are often elegant in their simplicity, allowing the smallest creatures to perform acts that seem to defy the rules of the physical world. The Goliath beetle weighs more than a mouse. Hidden in the rainforests of Africa is one of the true giants of the insect world.
The Goliath beetle, with its gleaming shell and muscular frame, can weigh more than a small mouse. Some adults grow to the length of a human hand, their armored bodies marked with striking black and white patterns. Despite their mass, they can still take flight, their wings unfolding from beneath heavy electra like sheets of living metal.
Their larvae are even larger, consuming decaying wood until they reach the size of small rodents. These beetles are harmless to humans, but monumental in their presence. They remind us that size and scale are relative in nature's grand design. Within their glossy shells lies a history of endurance, adaptation, and strength that spans millions of years.
The Goliath beetle is nature's paradox, immense yet gentle, ancient yet ever renewed by each new generation. Mosquitoes are attracted to the carbon dioxide we breathe out. Mosquitoes find us not by sight, but by scent and breath. Every exhale releases a faint trail of carbon dioxide that they can detect from many meters away. Once they sense it, they follow the invisible plume until they find its source. Warmth, body odor, and even the chemicals on our skin help guide them closer. Some people are more attractive to mosquitoes because of genetics, blood chemistry, or metabolic rate. These tiny hunters are guided by an ancient instinct that has made them one of the most successful species on Earth.
Long before humans appeared, mosquitoes fed on the blood of reptiles and burly mammals. Their ability to track life through the air itself makes them both fascinating and formidable. In their delicate flight lies a balance of beauty and menace, proof that even the smallest creatures can shape the course of evolution.
Moths navigate by the light of the moon. For countless generations, moths have traveled by moonlight. They orient their flight by keeping a constant angle to the moon, a reliable point of reference in the dark. This celestial compass allows them to glide across vast distances in near silence. Artificial lights, however, confuse their ancient navigation system. Drawn to the brightness, they spiral endlessly around lamps, mistaking them for the far-off glow that once guided them through forests and fields. Their soft, dusty wings brush glass and flame, victims of their own perfect precision in an imperfect world. In untouched wilderness, though they still move with quiet grace beneath the stars, following the same paths their ancestors traced when the night sky was their only map.
Their journey is a poetic echo of the old earth, a fragile flight, guided by instinct, light, and the steady rhythm of time itself. Some caterpillars pretend to be snakes to scare off birds. In the constant struggle between predator and prey, some caterpillars have evolved a remarkable disguise. When threatened, they lift the front of their bodies and reveal patterns that mimic the eyes and scales of a snake.
The illusion is startlingly convincing, complete with swaying motions that mimic a serpent ready to strike. This trick is pure theater, a perfect bluff that can send hungry birds fleeing in confusion. The transformation from harmless larva to frightening imitation is an exquisite example of natural selection at work. By mastering fear rather than flight, these caterpillars survive to become butterflies or moths. In the stillness of a leaf, they remind us that courage can take many forms, and that survival often depends on creativity as much as strength. Honeybees can recognize individual human faces. Within the humming order of a hive, honeybees possess a surprisingly complex intelligence. Experiments have shown that they can recognize and remember human faces, distinguishing one person from another even after several days. They achieve this using the same pattern recognition abilities that help them identify flowers. Their brains are smaller than a pinhead, yet they can process visual information with stunning efficiency. This ability allows them to navigate crowded landscapes and return unerringly to their hives from miles away. Bees think in patterns, shapes, and contrasts, perceiving the world as a network of relationships rather than simple images. When a bee hovers near your face, it might not just be reacting to scent, but actively observing. It is one of nature's gentle reminders that intelligence comes in many forms, and that even a creature born of wax and sunlight can remember the face of another being. The bombardier beetle defends itself by shooting boiling chemicals. When threatened, the bombardier beetle becomes a living weapon. Inside its abdomen are two chemical chambers that mix to produce an explosive reaction. In an instant, the beetle fires a jet of boiling liquid at its attacker, reaching temperatures hot enough to burn skin. The explosion is controlled by a tiny valve system that prevents the beetle from harming itself, a marvel of evolutionary engineering. Each burst is accompanied by an audible pop, the sound of chemistry turned into defense. This adaptation has fascinated scientists and engineers alike, inspiring research into miniature propulsion systems and controlled reactions. The beetle's defense is not aggression, but survival made elegant through precision. It shows that nature can invent mechanisms as complex as any machine, hidden within a creature small enough to fit in the palm of a hand. Ants farm fungus deep underground. In the dark soil beneath the forest floor, leafcutter ants tend to gardens that rival any human farm. They cut fragments of leaves not to eat, but to feed the fungus that sustains their colony. The leaves are carried in endless lines, forming green rivers that disappear into the earth. There, worker ants chew them into pulp and carefully seed them with fungal spores. The growing fungus becomes food for the colony, and the ants maintain its health with astonishing care. They remove contaminants, regulate humidity, and even use natural antibiotics produced by bacteria on their bodies. This partnership has existed for millions of years, a quiet alliance between two species that depend entirely on each other. Deep underground, hidden from sunlight, they practice a form of agriculture that predates human civilization, cultivating life with precision and devotion in the dark. The jewel wasp can control the mind of a cockroach. The jewel wasp's beauty hides a chilling mastery of biology. When it finds a cockroach, it delivers two precise stings. The first paralyzes the prey's front legs. The second, aimed directly into a part of the brain that controls movement, removes its ability to act independently. The cockroach remains alive but docile, allowing the wasp to lead it like a pet into a burrow.
There, she lays an egg on its body and seals the entrance. When the larva hatches, it feeds on the living host until it emerges as a new wasp. This gruesome cycle is both horrifying and extraordinary in its precision. Every movement, every chemical signal is perfectly tuned to ensure success. In the jewel wasp's luminous body lies one of evolution's strangest masterpieces, a story that shows how life can bend even consciousness to its will in the name of survival. Butterflies remember the smells they learned as caterpillars. Transformation in butterflies is total, yet memory somehow survives. Studies have shown that caterpillars trained to associate certain scents with food still respond to those same scents after metamorphosis. During the chrysalis stage, their bodies dissolve and rebuild, yet traces of neural memory remain. This continuity connects their larval and adult lives, forming a thread of experience that crosses one of nature's most dramatic boundaries. It suggests that memory is more resilient than form, carried within the reorganization of the nervous system itself. To imagine a butterfly recalling the faint sweetness of a leaf it once ate as a caterpillar is to glance the persistence of self through change. It is a living metaphor for continuity and transformation, a reminder that even in complete rebirth, something of who we were always finds its way through to what we become. Fleas can jump hundreds of times their own body height. Though tiny and wingless, fleas possess one of the most powerful leaps in the animal world. Their legs store energy in a specialized protein called resolin, which acts like a spring. When released, it propels the flea upward with astonishing force, sending it soaring more than 100 times its body height in a single bound. This ability helps it navigate the fur of its host, escaping danger or moving between animals with ease. The precision of this jump is unmatched, allowing fleas to land exactly where they intend. What seems like a simple nuisance is in truth a mechanical marvel designed by evolution to turn muscle and elasticity into explosive power. In the quiet motion of a single leap lies a physics lesson written by nature itself, proving that greatness often hides in the smallest and least celebrated forms of life. Male moths can detect a female's scent from miles away. In the darkness of night, male moths navigate by invisible signals drifting through the air. Females release pheromones, chemical perfumes that travel over astonishing distances. Some males can detect a single molecule among billions, their antenna exquisitely tuned to the scent. These delicate sensors are covered in fine hairs that capture the faintest traces of fragrance. Once the male catches the signal, he follows it unervingly, zigzagging toward the source with unwavering purpose. This ability allows mating even across vast landscapes, guided purely by chemistry. To us, the night may seem silent, but for moths, it is filled with invisible trails and whispered messages carried on the breeze. Their world is not built on sight or sound, but on scent and instinct, a sensory dimension that reminds us how much of life's communication happens in ways our senses can barely imagine. Fire ants can form living rafts to float during floods. When floodwaters rise, fire ants do not drown or flee. Instead, they cling to one another, locking legs and mandibles to create living rafts. These floating structures can last for weeks, carrying the colony's queen and larvae safely across the water. Each ant remains buoyant through surface tension, and together they form a shifting, breathing island that adjusts as conditions change. The unity is so complete that the raft behaves like a single organism, responding collectively to waves, obstacles, and threats. This survival strategy has allowed fire ants to endure in some of the harshest environments on Earth. It is a vivid demonstration of cooperation in the face of disaster, showing how even the smallest lives can achieve the impossible through connection.
In the living boats of courage and instinct, they embody the quiet strength that comes from trust and unity. The tiniest insect is smaller than a grain of salt. At the very edge of what the eye can perceive lives the firefly, a wasp so small that it drifts like dust. Adults of some species measure less than 0.2 of a millimeter long, smaller than a grain of salt. Their wings are delicate, fringed with fine hairs that let them float rather than beat through the air. Despite their size, they are fully formed insects, complete with eyes, antennae, and the ability to fly and reproduce. They lay their eggs inside the eggs of other insects, beginning a life cycle that unfolds on a microscopic scale. To imagine a complete world existing in such miniature form is to realize how vast life truly is. Even within the smallest spaces, evolution finds room for complexity and grace. The firefly is a whisper of creation, proof that wonder exists far beyond the limits of our sight. Ladybugs release a foul smell to deter predators. Ladybugs may look gentle, but they are armored with one of nature's cleverest defenses. When threatened, they exude a yellowish fluid from their leg joints that smells and tastes unpleasant to predators. This oily secretion, called reflex bleeding, carries toxins that can discourage birds and other insects from taking another bite. The bright red and black pattern of a ladybug's wings serves as a warning, a visual reminder that beauty can hide danger. To predators, these colors are nature's stop sign. Ladybugs spend much of their time feeding on aphids, saving gardens and crops from destruction. But when danger approaches, they become alchemists of survival. Their charm masks a quiet ferocity and a chemistry honed through millions of years of evolution. The next time you see one resting on a leaf, know that beneath those shining spots lives a tiny warrior wrapped in beauty and defense. The atlas moth's wings mimic a snake's head. The atlas moth, one of the largest insects in the world, carries on its wings a perfect illusion. The tips of its forewings resemble the head of a snake, complete with eye-like patterns and curving outlines. When threatened, the moth flutters its wings in a way that makes the pattern come alive, startling birds and lizards that might otherwise strike. The moth's wingspan can stretch over 30 centimeters, yet it rarely flies far. As an adult, it has no mouth and lives only a few days, sustained entirely by energy stored from its caterpillar stage. During that short life, it relies on deception, grace, and the quiet power of illusion. In the stillness of a tropical night, its broad wings unfurl like silk lanterns, glowing faintly in the moonlight. The atlas moth reminds us that even life's briefest moments can be lived with grandeur and mystery. Dung beetles use the Milky Way to navigate at night. In the soft darkness of African plains, dung beetles perform an act of celestial navigation. After collecting their prize, they roll it away in a straight line to escape competitors. Scientists discovered that they align their paths not by the moon or landmarks, but by the glow of the Milky Way itself. Even when clouds obscure the stars, the faint band of galactic light guides them. They climb atop their rolling spheres, pause, and orient themselves before continuing their tireless push through the dust. This cosmic sense of direction makes them the only known insects that use the stars for navigation. It is a humble yet astonishing connection between the smallest of creatures and the vastness of the universe. The dung beetle, pushing its burden beneath an ocean of starlight, becomes a symbol of perseverance
and cosmic harmony, bridging the distance between Earth and sky. Some termite queens can live for decades.
In the hidden depths of a termite mound lives a queen who may rule longer than many trees stand. Once fully mature, she swells with fertility, her abdomen expanding until she can no longer move. Surrounded by attendants, she spends her days producing thousands of eggs, ensuring the colony's constant renewal. Some termite queens have been known to live for more than 20 years, making them among the longest-lived insects on Earth. Her body pulses with the rhythm of creation, each beat bringing new life into the colony. She is tended, cleaned, and fed by her workers, revered as the heart of their civilization. Outside her chambers, soldiers guard the mound, maintaining the airflow and repairing the walls. Within her, the future of millions begins. She is both monarch and machine, a living embodiment of continuity, persistence, and the strange, enduring logic of life underground. The Hercules beetle changes color depending on humidity. The Hercules beetle, named for its immense strength, possesses another astonishing trait. Its shell can change color with the weather. In dry air, it appears olive or yellow, but when humidity rises, it darkens to deep green or even black. This color shift is caused by microscopic structures within the beetle shell that alter how light is reflected depending on moisture levels. It may help with camouflage or temperature control in the dense forests of Central and South America, where these giants dwell. Males are known for their long, curved horns, used in dramatic battles over mates, their clashes echoing faintly through the leaves. Beneath their toughness lies a beauty, both functional and mysterious. The Hercules beetle is a creature of transformation, its changing hues reflecting the living pulse of the rainforest and the delicate balance between strength, environment, and adaptation. Dragonfly larvae breathe through gills hidden inside their bodies. Before becoming the graceful flyers that glide over ponds, dragonflies spend most of their lives underwater as larvae. During this stage, they breathe through gills located not on the outside, but within their rectum. Water is drawn in and out, allowing oxygen to pass through hidden folds deep inside their bodies. This same mechanism can be used for jet propulsion, shooting bursts of water that propel the larvae forward with surprising speed. In this secret aquatic life, they are fierce hunters, devouring tadpoles, small fish, and other insects. For years, they live unseen beneath the surface, waiting for the day they will climb a reed and transform. When they emerge, they leave behind their old skin, unfold their new wings, and rise into the air. The dragonfly's story is one of hidden strength, transformation, and the quiet patience that precedes brilliance. A single colony of army ants can contain millions of individuals. Deep in the forests of the tropics, army ants move like a living river. A single colony can hold millions of individuals, each performing its role in perfect coordination. They travel in vast columns that sweep across the forest floor, consuming everything in their path. There is no permanent nest. Instead, they form temporary bivouacs made entirely of their own bodies, linking legs to create walls and chambers that house the queen and her brood. At night, the swarm folds in upon itself, becoming a breathing fortress. By dawn, it unravels, flowing forward once again in silent hunger. The colony acts as a single organism, a collective mind, driven by instinct and unity. To witness their advance is to see a pulse of life that feels both ancient and inevitable, an expression of nature's relentless will to move, feed, and endure. Some butterflies drink the tears of sleeping animals. In the humid jungles of South America, butterflies can sometimes be found perched gently upon the faces of sleeping turtles, caimans, or even birds.
They are not feeding on flesh or blood, but on tears. The salty liquid provides vital minerals that are scarce in their diet. With delicate tongues, they sip the moisture without waking their hosts, creating one of the strangest and most intimate exchanges in nature. Scientists call it lacryphagy, the drinking of tears. It is an eerie yet tender relationship, born from necessity rather than cruelty. In the quiet of the rainforest, this soft communion between predator and participant becomes a moment of still beauty. The butterfly's iridescent wings shimmer in the dim light while it feeds on sorrow itself, reminding us that even nourishment can take the gentlest and most unexpected forms. Mosquitoes use heat vision to find bird vessels. A mosquito's world is mapped in warmth. As it nears a host, its sensory organs detect tiny differences in temperature across the skin. The heat of blood flowing just beneath the surface becomes a beacon, guiding its proboscis with precision. Once it lands, the mosquito probes delicately until it finds the perfect spot to feed. This remarkable ability comes from specialized receptors in its antenna and mouthparts that respond to infrared radiation, allowing it to sense heat the way some snakes do. The entire process is a masterpiece of biological engineering refined over millions of years. While we feel the sting as irritation, the mosquito experiences a world sculpted in gradients of warmth, scent, and breath. In its silent pursuit of blood, it follows the oldest rhythm of all life on Earth, the exchange of energy between bodies, invisible and eternal. The loudest insect on Earth can be heard from half a mile away. In the heat of summer, the air vibrates with the call of the cicada, one of the loudest sounds produced by any insect. Certain species can generate songs reaching over 100 decibels, powerful enough to carry across fields and forests. The sound is made by rapid contractions of special muscles that flex membranes on their abdomen, creating a resonant mechanical rhythm. Each species has its own distinct call used to attract mates or mark territory. A chorus of thousands creates a soundscape that can feel almost hypnotic, a deep hum that seems to rise from the ground itself. For the cicadas, this thunderous music is both love song and survival strategy, overwhelming predators through sheer volume and numbers. Their brief, noisy lives are lived in the service of renewal, their voices joining in one vast, vibrating hymn to the summer sun. Walking sticks can reproduce without males. Some species of walking sticks have evolved a remarkable form of reproduction known as parthenogenesis. Females can produce offspring without mating, creating exact genetic copies of themselves. In times when males are scarce or conditions are harsh, this allows populations to endure and spread. Entire forests may be home to generations of identical females, continuing a lineage that never needed a partner. When males do appear, sexual reproduction resumes, introducing variation once again. This balance between cloning and diversity gives walking sticks incredible resilience. They are masters of invisibility, blending perfectly with twigs and leaves. Yet, their hidden lives carry profound lessons about survival. In their quiet way, they reveal how life always finds a method to continue, whether through union or solitude, keeping the ancient rhythm of reproduction alive in the simplest and most astonishing of forms. Some leafhoppers create musical vibrations we cannot hear. Though leafhoppers appear silent, they live in a world filled with hidden music. Instead of producing audible sounds, they send vibrations through plants, communicating by rhythm rather than tone. Using small organs on their abdomen, they generate tremors that travel along stems and leaves, carrying messages about territory, mating, or danger.
These vibrations are too faint for human ears, but can be detected with special equipment. In dense vegetation, the air may seem still, yet the plants themselves hum with coded conversation. Leafhoppers rely on this private language to survive, avoiding predators who cannot hear their messages. It is a symphony of touch rather than sound, a reminder that life speaks in many voices beyond our perception.
The next time the wind stirs the grass, imagine 1,000 tiny instruments playing within it, unseen, unheard, but endlessly expressive. The mayfly lives for only a few hours after becoming an adult. The mayfly's life is a study in impermanence. After spending months or even years underwater as a larva, feeding and growing, it emerges into the air as an adult with one purpose: to reproduce. It has no mouth, no stomach, and no need for food. Within hours, sometimes less than a single day, it mates, lays eggs, and dies. The air around rivers becomes filled with their fragile wings, fluttering in clouds of golden light. To human eyes, such brevity may seem tragic, but in nature's rhythm, it is perfect timing. Each generation ensures the next, continuing a cycle that has endured for more than 300 million years. The mayfly's fleeting existence reminds us that beauty and transience often walk hand in hand. In its short flight, it lives an entire lifetime, one that ends where it began, beside the quiet water. Certain beetles can withstand pressures that would crush steel. Among the desert sands of North America lives a creature of remarkable endurance, the diabolical ironclad beetle. Its exoskeleton is so tough that it can survive being run over by a car without injury. The secret lies in the intricate interlocking design of its shell, where layers of chitin are arranged like a jigsaw puzzle that distributes pressure evenly. This natural armor allows it to resist crushing forces that would destroy almost any other insect. Scientists studying its structure have drawn inspiration for developing stronger materials for aircraft and protective gear. Despite its fearsome name, the beetle feeds mostly on fungi and decaying plant matter, living a quiet life beneath bark and leaf litter. Its strength is not in aggression, but in design, a reminder that true resilience often lies in the unseen architecture of survival. Termites use sunlight and airflow to regulate their mound temperature. A termite mound may appear to be a simple pile of earth, yet it is a marvel of environmental engineering. Inside, the temperature and humidity remain constant year-round, regardless of the conditions outside. Termites achieve this by constructing an intricate network of tunnels and vents that direct airflow through the mound. As warm air rises, cooler air is drawn in from below, creating a self-regulating circulation system. Some species even build their mounds facing north and south to capture sunlight at just the right angles. This living architecture allows the colony's delicate fungus gardens to thrive. Engineers and architects have studied termite mounds to design buildings that cool themselves naturally, without electricity. What seems like instinct is in fact a form of wisdom encoded in evolution, transforming simple creatures into silent masters of sustainable design. Butterflies see colors we cannot even imagine. To a butterfly, the world is painted in hues beyond human comprehension. Their compound eyes can perceive ultraviolet light, allowing them to see hidden patterns on flowers that guide them to nectar. What appears plain to us may glow with invisible markings to them. Different species see slightly different ranges of color, some perceiving the polarization of light itself. Their vision shapes how they navigate, how they recognize mates, and how they experience the landscape around them. The brilliance of their wings mirrors the richness of their perception, each shimmer a reflection of how they see.
In the soft morning light, a butterfly flutters not just through color, but through wavelengths that exist outside our senses. Their eyes remind us that beauty is not limited to what we perceive, and that reality is far more colorful than our vision can ever reveal. Mosquitoes are among the deadliest animals in human history. Despite their size, mosquitoes have shaped the fate of civilizations. By carrying diseases such as malaria, yellow fever, and dengue, they have been responsible for more human deaths than any other creature in recorded history. Ancient armies were weakened by them, explorers delayed, and empires altered by the spread of illness through their tiny bites. The female mosquito, needing blood to nourish her eggs, becomes an unwitting messenger of pathogens. Yet mosquitoes also play a role in ecosystems, serving as pollinators and food for countless species of fish, birds, and bats. Their story is one of balance and consequence, of how even the smallest life can tip the scales of history. In the hum of their wings lies both menace and meaning, a reminder that power is not measured in size, but in influence, written across time in the quiet persistence of flight. Some beetles can live inside volcanic ash fields. In places where life should not exist, certain beetles thrive. After volcanic eruptions, when ash still smolders and the landscape is bare, these pioneers arrive. They burrow into cooling soil, feeding on whatever organic matter remains. Their bodies are adapted to heat and dryness, with shells that reflect sunlight and conserve moisture. Over time, they help transform sterile ground into living soil, breaking down minerals and creating pathways for plants to root again. In this way, they're among the first engineers of renewal after destruction. Their presence marks the beginning of recovery, the first pulse of life returning to a wounded world. These beetles carry within them the spirit of resilience, showing that even in the shadow of fire, nature finds a way to rebuild and begin again. The assassin bug hunts using camouflage and patience. The assassin bug lives by stealth and precision. It hides among leaves or bark, its body shaped and colored to vanish into the background. When prey passes close, it strikes with a needle-like beak, injecting enzymes that liquefy the victim from within. It then drinks the fluid quietly, leaving only an empty shell. Some species go further, using the carcasses of their prey as camouflage, wearing them as armor against detection. Their methods are efficient, calculated, and unsettlingly intelligent. Despite their fearsome nature, assassin bugs play an important ecological role, controlling pest populations and maintaining balance in their habitats. Each ambush they carry out is an act of equilibrium, a necessary exchange within the food web. In their stillness and precision lies the artistry of the hunter, a reminder that nature's most elegant strategies are often its most silent. Cockroaches have been on Earth since before the dinosaurs. Long before dinosaurs walked the Earth, cockroaches were already thriving. Fossil evidence shows that their ancestors lived more than 300 million years ago, scurrying beneath the ferns of ancient forests. Through ice ages, meteor impacts, and the rise and fall of continents, they have endured. Their adaptability is unmatched. They can survive without food for weeks, withstand radiation levels fatal to humans, and squeeze through gaps thinner than a coin. Each time the world has changed, they have changed with it, outlasting countless other species. Though often reviled, the cockroach is a symbol of persistence and evolution's genius for endurance. In every dark corner and every forgotten space, they continue a lineage older than mammals, reptiles, and birds. They are survivors written into the very history of life, living fossils that whisper of the planet's most ancient and unbroken story.
Male crickets serenade females by rubbing their wings together. In the quiet warmth of the night, the song of a cricket drifts through the grass. That gentle chirping is not a voice, but the sound of wings scraping together in rhythm. Male crickets produce their song by rubbing a sharp ridge on one wing against a file-like surface on the other, creating a vibration that carries through the air. Each species sings in its own pattern, with some chirps quick and steady, others slow and melodic. The sound serves as both invitation and competition, calling to potential mates while warning rivals to stay away. A female listens closely, drawn to the most precise rhythm, the truest sign of health and strength. To humans, the cricket song brings calm and nostalgia, a heartbeat of summer evenings. Yet to the crickets themselves, it is a language of longing, connection, and the timeless music of survival. Some wasps turn spiders into web-building slaves. Among the many astonishing strategies in nature, few are as haunting as that of the parasitic wasp that enslaves spiders. The female wasp seeks out a host, stings it with pinpoint accuracy, and lays an egg upon its back. The spider continues to live, seemingly unharmed, but the growing larva releases chemicals that alter the spider's behavior. When the time comes, the spider abandons its normal web and builds a special reinforced structure unlike any it has spun before. This new web serves as a cradle for the wasp's cocoon. Once the structure is complete, the larva kills the spider and takes its place in the web it forced into being. It is a story of eerie precision, of instinct and control, interwoven in biology's darker poetry. Within this grim choreography lies the reminder that evolution creates both beauty and cruelty, often in the same delicate form. Fireflies synchronize their flashes across entire forests. In certain tropical nights, entire forests seem to breathe with light. Thousands of fireflies gather in the trees, their flashes pulsing together in perfect harmony. Scientists believe this synchronization is a form of communication, allowing males and females to find each other amid the darkness. Each tiny lantern glows through a reaction between oxygen and luciferin inside its abdomen, producing light without heat. When the rhythm spreads across the trees, it becomes a living constellation, the terrestrial mirror of the sky. In some regions, these gatherings have been celebrated for centuries as natural wonders. The precision of the timing remains partly mysterious, a collective awareness that seems almost telepathic. For a few precious moments, the forest becomes a single glowing organism, breathing in unity. The synchronized light of fireflies is nature's quiet symphony, proof that connection and beauty can arise from the simplest sparks of life. The orchid mantis mimics flowers to lure its prey. The orchid mantis is a living illusion of color and grace. Its pale pink and white body perfectly imitates the petals of tropical blossoms. Resting among real orchids, it becomes indistinguishable from them, waiting for unsuspecting insects to draw near.
Butterflies and bees, attracted by what appears to be nectar, instead become part of the mantis's silent feast. Even the way it moves mimics the gentle swaying of a flower in the wind. Its disguise is so convincing that researchers once mistook it for a plant adaptation rather than an animal's. This masterpiece of camouflage shows how deeply evolution can sculpt form and behavior together. The orchid mantis does not chase its prey. It waits, still and radiant, until life comes to it. In its quiet deception lies a beauty that is both serene and ruthless, an art of survival painted in living color. Certain ants explode to protect their colony. In the rainforests of Southeast Asia, some ants possess a defense unlike any other.
When threatened, they rupture their own bodies, releasing a sticky, toxic fluid that immobilizes intruders. The act is fatal to the ant, yet it saves the colony. These self-destructive soldiers are the ultimate defenders, their sacrifice woven into the fabric of their society. Each explosion releases chemicals so strong that they can repel much larger predators. Scientists call this adaptation autothesis, a word that means self-sacrifice. It is a striking example of how far nature's designs can go in service of community. Within the colony, every individual is part of something larger, and the survival of the group outweighs that of the self. Their story is both tragic and awe-inspiring, a testament to the depth of cooperation and devotion that can exist in even the smallest forms of life. Butterflies can hear with their wings. While butterflies are known for color and grace, they also possess an unexpected sense of hearing. Hidden within the thin membranes of their wings are specialized structures that detect sound vibrations. These organs, called tympanal membranes, allow butterflies to sense the approach of predators, such as birds or bats. The vibrations travel through the delicate tissue like ripples across water, giving the butterfly a form of early warning. Some species respond by altering their flight pattern, darting unpredictably through the air. Others rely on this sense to stay still when danger passes nearby. The discovery of wing-based hearing has changed how scientists understand these insects, revealing that their wings are not only for beauty and movement, but also for awareness. Every flutter is part of a larger sensory world, where sound, color, and motion merge in perfect harmony beneath the open sky. A beetle called the diabolical ironclad beetle can survive being run over by a car. In the deserts of California lives a beetle so tough that it can withstand the weight of a passing car. Known as the diabolical ironclad beetle, its exoskeleton is built like natural armor, composed of interlocking layers that distribute force across its body. This intricate design prevents cracks from spreading and allows the beetle to survive crushing pressures that would destroy nearly any other creature. Scientists studying its structure have found inspiration for new engineering materials, from aircraft shells to protective gear. Despite its formidable defense, the beetle lives a peaceful life, feeding on fungi and decaying wood. Its power lies not in aggression, but in endurance. Within its small, unassuming body exists a design perfected by evolution, a masterpiece of natural architecture, proving that resilience can be as elegant as it is strong. Insects were the first animals ever to take flight. Long before birds, bats, or humans lifted from the ground, insects claimed the air. Around 400 million years ago, they developed wings, unlocking a new dimension of existence. The first flyers were small, clumsy, and primitive, yet their discovery of flight transformed life on Earth. Being able to rise above the surface allowed them to escape predators, find new habitats, and spread across continents. This innovation reshaped entire ecosystems, influencing the evolution of plants and animals alike. Fossils of ancient dragonflies show wingspans wider than a human hand, remnants of an age when the skies belonged entirely to insects. Every creature that soars today traces its heritage back to those tiny pioneers. Flight turned survival into art, transforming crawling creatures into explorers of wind and light. The story of insect flight is the beginning of movement itself, written in the language of wings. Some grasshoppers sing by striking their legs against their wings. The gentle trill of a grasshopper on a warm afternoon is a sound older than civilization. These songs are created not by voice, but by friction. The grasshopper rubs a roughened ridge on its hind legs against the edge of its wings, producing rhythmic vibrations.
Each species has its own pattern, a code that identifies individuals and attracts mates. Temperature affects the pace of the song, so much so that counting chirps can estimate the warmth of the air. The sound fills fields and meadows like a living pulse of summer. To other grasshoppers, this is communication, not music. To us, it becomes the soundtrack of peaceful days. Beneath the simple rhythm lies a physics lesson in sound production, an ancient melody carried on air through legs, wings, and sunlight. The grasshopper song is a conversation between creature and world, woven softly through the heat of the day. Bees can solve simple math problems. Beneath their golden hum, bees hide a spark of intelligence that continues to surprise science. Studies have shown that honeybees can understand basic mathematical concepts such as addition and subtraction. Using color-coded symbols during experiments, bees learn to associate certain patterns with increasing or decreasing quantities of shapes. They could then apply that logic to new problems, choosing the correct solution to earn a reward of sugar water. This ability suggests that their tiny brains process numbers in a way once thought limited to larger animals. Beyond counting, bees can recognize symmetry, learn from observation, and remember the location of flowers miles apart. Within the dark chambers of a hive, they dance to share geometry and distance, turning numbers into motion. The honeybee reminds us that intelligence does not require size, only structure, curiosity, and the quiet persistence of learning. Aphids give birth to live young without mating. Aphids, the small, sap-feeding insects often found on garden plants, possess one of nature's most efficient reproductive systems. Many species can give birth to live young without mating, a process known as parthenogenesis. Within their bodies, developing embryos are clones of the mother, ready to begin feeding the moment they are born. In warm seasons, populations can multiply with astonishing speed, covering entire plants in days. Some aphids are even born pregnant, carrying the next generation before taking their first sip of sap. When conditions change, males appear and sexual reproduction resumes, restoring genetic diversity. This flexible cycle ensures survival through both abundance and hardship. Aphids may be fragile, but their strategy reveals a brilliance in simplicity. Through self-replication and timing, they turn vulnerability into success, thriving quietly across fields and gardens as one of the planet's most persistent and adaptable life forms. Mosquitoes prefer certain people over others. Anyone who has sat outdoors on a summer evening knows that mosquitoes do not treat all humans equally. Some people attract far more bites than others, and science has uncovered why. Mosquitoes are drawn to a mix of carbon dioxide, body heat, and specific chemicals found in human sweat and skin oils. Genetic factors influence these scents, meaning that body chemistry determines how appealing a person smells to a mosquito. People with higher metabolic rates or certain blood types emit more carbon dioxide, making them easier targets. Even clothing color can play a role, with darker fabrics drawing more attention.
These tiny hunters navigate through invisible trails of scent, heat, and breath, guided by instincts refined over millions of years. Their choices may seem random to us, but in the quiet language of chemistry, each human is a unique beacon in the dark. Moths drink blood like tiny vampires. Though most moths feed on nectar, a few species have evolved a darker habit. These nocturnal visitors pierce the skin of mammals, including humans, to drink small amounts of blood.
Their specialized mouthparts, called proboscis, are strong enough to penetrate flesh without causing pain. Scientists believe this adaptation began as a way to extract minerals from animal tears or fluids, eventually shifting toward blood feeding. Unlike mosquitoes, these moths do not transmit diseases, but the behavior adds a gothic twist to their gentle reputation. In the stillness of night, their wings flutter softly as they draw sustenance from living hosts, completing a cycle both eerie and fascinating. The image of a blood-drinking moth reminds us that even the most delicate forms of life carry secrets shaped by need, instinct, and the endless inventiveness of evolution. The bullet ant has one of the most painful stings on Earth. In the rainforests of Central and South America lives the bullet ant, a creature feared and revered for its sting. The pain it delivers has been compared to being shot, intense and burning, lasting for hours. The venom contains neurotoxins that overload pain receptors, creating a sensation few living things could forget. Indigenous tribes once used bullet ants in initiation rituals, weaving them into gloves that young warriors wore to prove endurance and courage. Despite their fearsome defense, bullet ants are not aggressive unless provoked. They live in organized colonies, tending to larvae and gathering food with quiet diligence. Their sting is not an act of cruelty, but a powerful message of survival. The bullet ant embodies the duality of nature, where beauty and danger coexist, and where the smallest creature can command both awe and respect. The tsetse fly gives birth to fully formed larvae. Unlike most insects that lay eggs, the tsetse fly gives birth to live young. Inside the mother's body, a single larva grows, nourished by a special milk-like secretion produced by her glands. When ready, the larva is born and immediately burrows into the ground to pupate. This unique form of reproduction, called adenotrophic viviparity, is rare among insects and remarkably similar to mammalian birth. The tsetse fly invests heavily in each offspring, producing only a few during her lifetime, but ensuring each has a strong chance of survival. Found mainly in sub-Saharan Africa, tsetse flies play a complex role in ecosystems, but are also infamous for spreading sleeping sickness in humans and animals. Their reproductive strategy reveals a surprising tenderness amid their reputation, a small miracle of nourishment and care in a creature often seen only as a pest. A cicada's song comes from rapid vibrations of its abdomen. When summer air hums with sound, it is often the voice of the cicada. The males produce their distinctive calls using drum-like structures called tymbals, located on their abdomen. Powerful muscles contract and release these membranes hundreds of times per second, amplifying the sound through hollow chambers inside the body. Each species sings its own rhythm, creating a layered chorus that can fill entire forests. The volume can exceed 100 decibels, louder than many rock concerts. These songs are love calls made to attract females hidden in the trees. To us, they are the soundtrack of heat and sunlight, a reminder of the Earth's seasonal pulse. In each vibration lies the story of longing and persistence, of creatures who have waited years underground, only to spend their brief time above, filling the air with music before fading back into silence. Some beetles can breathe underwater using air bubbles as scuba tanks. Certain beetles live as comfortably underwater as on land, thanks to an ingenious adaptation. When they dive, they trap a bubble of air beneath their wing covers or around fine hairs on their bodies. This bubble acts as a miniature scuba tank, supplying oxygen while releasing carbon dioxide into the water. The process creates a slow exchange that can sustain the beetle for long periods, even hours. Scientists call it a physical gill,
a simple yet effective way to breathe below the surface. These beetles glide gracefully through ponds and streams, feeding on small aquatic creatures and detritus. Their shimmering air bubbles glint like tiny mirrors, reflecting sunlight through the water. They remind us that even the smallest forms of life have mastered the art of invention, adapting perfectly to worlds where breathing itself becomes a matter of elegant design. Ants use chemical trails as invisible highways. To the human eye, the path of an ant may seem random, yet it follows a carefully mapped world of scent. As ants move, they leave behind invisible chemical trails made of pheromones. Other ants detect these traces with their antennae, following them to food sources or back to the nest. The more ants that travel the same route, the stronger the scent becomes, reinforcing the highway. If the trail fades or breaks, new routes are quickly formed, demonstrating remarkable collective intelligence. This system allows colonies to coordinate complex foraging patterns without a leader, guided only by chemistry and instinct. To an ant, the world is painted in smells rather than sights, a shifting network of invisible roads. Their coordination reveals how communication can exist in complete silence, connecting millions of lives through a language that vanishes with the wind. The wetter of New Zealand can freeze solid and thaw back to life. In the cold mountains of New Zealand, the wetter endures conditions that would kill most insects. During winter, it allows its body to freeze completely. Ice forms between its cells, but not within them, thanks to special proteins that prevent internal damage. When temperatures rise, the wetter thaws and resumes life as if nothing had happened. This survival mechanism makes it one of nature's true miracles of endurance. The giant wetter, among the heaviest insects on Earth, lives a slow and ancient life, feeding on leaves under moonlight. Its ability to withstand freezing demonstrates nature's infinite creativity in facing hardship. In its stillness, preserved by ice, the wetter becomes a symbol of patience and resilience. When spring returns, so does its quiet motion, proof that even in the heart of winter, life waits softly for the warmth to come again. Some butterflies can cross oceans on the wind. Some butterflies undertake migrations that seem impossible for such delicate creatures. Species like the painted lady and the monarch have been observed crossing oceans, carried by winds that span continents. These journeys can stretch for thousands of miles, with successive generations continuing the voyage long after the first travelers have passed. Scientists have tracked butterflies flying from Africa to Europe and even across parts of the Atlantic. Their paper-thin wings, seemingly fragile, are perfectly designed to catch currents and glide with astonishing efficiency. Along the way, they feed, breed, and rest, guided by the invisible architecture of air. Each migration is both a journey and a legacy, connecting faraway lands through delicate persistence. In every flutter over open water, these butterflies embody courage written in color and motion, drifting between worlds with nothing but instinct, sunlight, and the wind to guide them. Termites may produce more biomass than all humans combined. Hidden beneath the surface of the Earth lives a population so immense that its total weight may exceed that of every human being combined. Termites, though tiny, exist in countless billions across forests, savannas, and deserts.
Together, they form a vast network of life that constantly rebuilds the soil. By breaking down wood, leaves, and other organic matter, they release nutrients that nourish entire ecosystems. Each colony acts as a living engine of renewal, recycling the dead into the living.
In tropical regions, their mounds can rise taller than people, and the number of workers inside a single mound can reach into the millions. Their collective labor shapes landscapes, influences the carbon cycle, and supports plant growth on a planetary scale. Though unseen, the world beneath our feet hums with their endless motion.
A quiet civilization of builders that outnumbers and outweighs our own. Bees can recognize patterns and symmetry. The honeybee, known for its order and cooperation, also possesses a refined sense of beauty. Scientists have discovered that bees can recognize and remember symmetrical patterns, preferring balanced shapes over chaotic ones. They use this skill to identify flowers more efficiently, guiding them toward those that offer the richest nectar. In controlled studies, bees learn to distinguish shapes, colors, and even artistic patterns. Their ability to detect symmetry may be part of why flower evolution favors balance and proportion as pollinators instinctively gravitate toward it. Inside the hive, this same sensitivity governs the geometry of the honeycomb, where each hexagon is a perfect reflection of natural mathematics. The bee's world is not only one of scent and sound, but also of form and harmony. Their tiny eyes perceive order where we see simplicity, revealing that even in the smallest minds, beauty and function are deeply entwined.
Certain flies lay eggs inside snails that later emerge through the shell. In the strange theater of evolution, some flies have turned snails into living nurseries. Female marsh flies seek out specific snail species and deposit their eggs inside the soft body through the shell opening. The larvae hatch within, feeding slowly from the inside while keeping the snail alive long enough to serve as a protective shelter. When the larvae are ready to pupate, they break through the shell and crawl out, leaving behind the hollow remnant of their host. This eerie process unfolds in silence within the damp corners of ponds and marshes. It is a haunting reminder of how intricate and unsettling nature's strategies for survival can be. Each life begins where another ends, a balance of creation and destruction that has played out for millions of years in the quiet mud of the wetlands. The praying mantis can see in 3 dimensions. Among insects, the praying mantis stands alone in its ability to perceive the world in true depth. Like humans, it uses stereoscopic vision, combining images from both eyes to judge distance. This remarkable adaptation allows the mantis to strike its prey with perfect accuracy, timing its attack to the fraction of a second. Its triangular head can swivel nearly all the way around, giving it a panoramic view of its surroundings. Scientists studying mantis vision have used tiny glasses to test their depth perception, confirming that they possess a kind of 3D sight unmatched among other invertebrates. This ability makes the mantis a hunter of extraordinary precision, able to snatch a fly from midair with effortless grace. When it tilts its head towards you, it is not curiosity alone that moves it, but the quiet calculation of a creature that truly sees the space between worlds. Some beetles mimic ants so perfectly they live among them undetected. In the secret hierarchies of the insect world, disguise can mean survival. Some beetles have evolved to look, smell, and even behave like ants, allowing them to live undetected within ant colonies. Their bodies have grown slender, their antennae curved, their movements rehearsed in perfect imitation. They mimic the colony's scent by producing chemicals identical to those the ants use to recognize each other. In this way, they walk freely among their hosts, stealing food, feeding on larvae, or simply enjoying the safety of the nest. The deception is so flawless that the ants treat them as family, grooming and protecting them as one of their own.
It is a living example of how deeply adaptation can sculpt identity. The beetles' borrowed life is an art of survival, played out in the hidden darkness of the soil, beneath a kingdom ruled by scent and silence. The giraffe weevil has a neck longer than its entire body. Deep in the rainforests of Madagascar lives one of nature's strangest craftsmen, the giraffe weevil. The male's neck can be up to 3 times the length of his body, a structure used for building and for battle. When constructing a nest, the weevil carefully rolls a leaf into a tube, using his elongated neck to maneuver it into shape. Inside this cradle, the female lays a single egg, and the leaf eventually falls to the forest floor, where the larva hatches safely hidden. Males also use their long necks in duels, locking together in slow, deliberate combat for the right to mate. Despite their unusual proportions, giraffe weevils move with a quiet grace, their glossy black shells catching the green light of the canopy. They are living sculptures, proof that evolution creates not only for necessity, but also for the sheer artistry of adaptation. Fireflies communicate with unique light codes. To human eyes, the glow of fireflies seems random and magical, but to the insects themselves, it is language. Each species uses a distinct rhythm and pattern of light flashes to attract mates and recognize one another. Some species exchange simple signals, while others perform intricate sequences like Morse code written in luminescence. In the still air of a summer night, their messages flicker across meadows and forests, weaving invisible conversations of attraction and response. The light is produced by a chemical reaction within the firefly's body, controlled with astonishing precision. In some species, females mimic the patterns of other kinds of fireflies to lure males closer, turning communication into deception. Every flash carries meaning, from love to danger, from courtship to cunning. Their glowing dialogue turns darkness into poetry, proof that even the smallest lives express themselves in patterns of light. Some butterflies feed on rotting fruit and animal fluids. Although butterflies are symbols of purity and color, their diets can be surprisingly complex. Many species feed not on nectar, but on the minerals found in rotting fruit, animal dung, or even the fluids of decomposing creatures. These sources provide salts and nutrients vital for reproduction and flight. On tropical riverbanks, clouds of butterflies can be seen gathered around damp soil or carrion, sipping delicately with their coiled tongues. Scientists call this behavior mud puddling. To the butterfly, decay is not repulsive, but necessary, a reminder that beauty often depends on the unseen cycles of life and death. Their delicate forms hovering above the Earth's fading matter reveal a truth about the natural world, that all things are connected, that renewal often begins where endings occur, and that grace can arise from even the most unlikely places. The Japanese hornet can melt flesh with its venom. Among the largest hornets in the world, the Japanese giant hornet inspires both fear and fascination. Its sting injects a potent venom containing enzymes that dissolve tissue, creating intense pain and inflammation. The scent of the venom also marks its victim, guiding other hornets to attack the same target. Despite its fearsome reputation, the species plays an ecological role by preying on agricultural pests. When hunting, they move with organized precision, attacking honeybee colonies and carrying the remains back to feed their larvae. Humans who encounter them are often astonished by their size, their wings whirring with a deep mechanical hum. Though deadly in defense, they act according to the same balance that governs all predators, taking life only to sustain their own.
In their power lies both destruction and purpose,
a reminder that every force in nature has its place within the great design. Termite soldiers use their heads as living door plugs. Within the walls of a termite mound, soldiers stand guard at narrow tunnels that lead to the outside world. Some species have evolved heads shaped perfectly to fit these passages, allowing them to block intruders simply by wedging themselves into place. Their heads are often hardened and flat, forming living shields that seal the colony from predators such as ants or centipedes. If one soldier is dislodged, another immediately takes its place, maintaining the barrier. This defense system requires no weapons, only patience and sacrifice. Each soldier exists for this purpose alone, spending its life as a door to protect the rest of the colony. It is an image of unity and devotion, an entire society functioning as one body. In the darkness of their tunnels, the silence of their watch becomes the heartbeat of the colony's safety and strength. Some beetles eat only fungal spores growing on dead wood. In the quiet decay of fallen trees, tiny beetles live lives of perfect specialization. Certain species feed exclusively on fungal spores that bloom within rotting wood. These spores are rich in nutrients, but fleeting, appearing only in the right conditions of moisture and shade. The beetles spend their days crawling through the intricate tunnels of decomposition, harvesting the invisible seeds of fungi. Their presence ensures that nutrients are distributed evenly through the forest floor, helping new life grow from the remnants of the old. This delicate balance between beetle, fungus, and wood reveals the hidden complexity of decay. What appears to be destruction is in truth transformation. Within each decomposing log exists a world of microscopic collaboration, where beetles serve as caretakers of the forest's eternal cycle of renewal. The Hercules moth has wings wider than a human hand. The Hercules moth, found in the rainforests of northern Australia and New Guinea, is among the largest moths on Earth. Its wings can span over 30 centimeters, broader than a human hand, and are marked with translucent eye spots that shimmer like moonlight. Despite its immense size, the moth lives only a few days as an adult. It has no mouth and cannot eat, relying on energy stored from its caterpillar stage. During that brief life, it drifts silently through the warm night, guided by instinct in the faint pull of starlight. The caterpillar it once was is equally impressive. Covered in soft green spines and capable of growing as long as a child's forearm, the Hercules moth's life, though short, is a masterpiece of transformation. Its vast wings are a fleeting testament to the splendor and impermanence that define the living world. Ants can farm aphids like tiny cattle. In the miniature fields of the natural world, ants have learned the art of agriculture. Certain species care for aphids, protecting them from predators and tending them as farmers tend livestock. In return, the aphids produce a sweet liquid called honeydew, which the ants consume. The ants stroke the aphids gently with their antennae to stimulate this flow, collecting it drop by drop. They even move their herds to fresh feeding grounds and shelter them in their nests during rain. This relationship is one of the most sophisticated examples of cooperation between species. It demonstrates that farming did not begin with humans, but evolved millions of years earlier among creatures that measure their fields in blades of grass. Within their care and discipline lies a reflection of our own need for connection, nurture, and the shared work of sustaining life. Cockroaches can learn through repetition. Though often underestimated, cockroaches possess a surprising capacity for learning. Experiments have shown that they can be trained to associate certain scents with food rewards, responding more quickly over time through repetition. This form of associative learning is similar to how mammals form habits.
Even with their simple nervous systems, cockroaches adapt rapidly to changing environments.
remembering safe hiding places and food sources. Their resilience is rooted not only in toughness, but also in adaptability of mind. In laboratories, they have demonstrated long-term memory, recalling learned responses even after several days. These discoveries challenge our assumptions about intelligence and awareness in the insect world. The cockroach, a creature that has survived for hundreds of millions of years, does so not by brute endurance alone, but by observation and adaptation, qualities that echo the same quiet intelligence found across all of life. Some insects produce antifreeze proteins to survive Arctic winters. In the frozen silence of the Arctic, where temperatures fall far below zero, some insects endure through chemistry. They produce special proteins that prevent ice crystals from forming within their bodies. These antifreeze proteins bind to tiny ice particles, halting their growth and keeping the insect cells intact. This adaptation allows species like the Arctic woolly bear caterpillar to survive multiple winters, freezing solid each year and thawing in spring to continue growing. The process is a triumph of biology over physics, a delicate balancing act that preserves life against impossible odds. These tiny creatures lie motionless beneath snow and ice, their metabolism slowed to near stillness. Yet, when warmth returns, they awaken as if from sleep, carrying on the endless cycle of survival. Within their frozen patience lies a lesson in endurance, showing that life finds a way even in the still heart of winter. Fireflies can control the timing and rhythm of their glow. The glow of a firefly is one of nature's purest forms of communication, and it is not random. Fireflies can control the timing and rhythm of their flashes through precise bursts of oxygen that ignite a chemical reaction in their light-producing cells. Each species has its own distinct rhythm, and individuals can even adjust their timing to synchronize with others nearby. This coordination turns isolated flashes into entire fields of light that pulse in harmony. The mechanism is so efficient that it produces no heat at all, converting nearly all energy directly into light. In these living lanterns, science and wonder meet perfectly. Their glow is not just a display of beauty, but a coded conversation written in timing, pattern, and silence. Beneath the summer sky, their rhythm becomes a lullaby of communication, a gentle proof of how deeply light itself can speak. The eyes of a dragonfly contain tens of thousands of lenses. A dragonfly's vision borders on the supernatural. Each of its two enormous eyes is composed of up to 30,000 individual lenses, each capturing a fragment of the surrounding world. Together, they create a panoramic image that spans nearly every direction at once. Dragonflies can detect movement from remarkable distances and perceive colors invisible to humans, including ultraviolet light. Their ability to track multiple moving objects at once makes them exceptional hunters, able to catch prey in midair with unerring accuracy. For the dragonfly, the sky is a living tapestry of motion and color, filled with detail we cannot begin to imagine. Its eyes are not simply organs of sight, but instruments of awareness, perfectly attuned to the dance of life in flight. Every shimmer of light across its compound gaze is a reflection of nature's genius for precision and perception. Certain butterflies shimmer with colors that do not exist in pigments. The dazzling blues and greens of some butterflies are not created by pigments, but by structure. Tiny microscopic scales on their wings are arranged in layers that reflect and scatter light in precise ways, producing colors that shift with every angle.
This phenomenon, known as structural coloration, means the color exists only in light itself, not in any substance. The morphled butterfly of the Amazon is famous for this effect, its wings glowing with an iridescence so bright it can be seen from hundreds of meters away. The shimmering surface not only captivates the eye, but also confuses predators by flashing from vivid blue to dull brown as it moves. These wings are nature's prisms, bending light into art. In their brilliance lies a reminder that color, like beauty, is often an illusion shaped by light and perspective. Mosquitoes can smell human sweat from a great distance. Long before we see or hear them, mosquitoes can sense us through the faintest trace of our scent. Their antennae and mouthparts are covered in sensory receptors capable of detecting chemicals found in human sweat, particularly lactic acid and ammonia. These cues, combined with the carbon dioxide we exhale, create a trail that mosquitoes can follow from many meters away. Once close, they use heat sensors to locate exposed skin. This powerful sense of smell has made them one of the most efficient hunters on Earth, able to find blood even in darkness. Scientists studying these mechanisms hope to develop better repellents by disrupting the chemical signals that attract them. For the mosquito, each breath and heartbeat becomes a beacon in the night, guiding it through the air to its next meal. Its delicate pursuit is both elegant and relentless, a dance of scent and survival. Dung beetles can roll balls 50 times their own weight. In fields and deserts across the world, dung beetles perform feats of strength that border on the impossible. A single beetle can roll a ball of dung more than 50 times its own body weight, pushing it backward with its hind legs as it navigates uneven ground. These balls serve as food storage or as chambers for laying eggs, ensuring that the next generation will have nourishment. To maintain direction, dung beetles climb atop their spheres, orienting themselves by the sun during the day and by the Milky Way at night. Their determination and precision turn an act of labor into something heroic. Beneath the vast sky, their tiny silhouettes roll the weight of the world with quiet persistence. They are the unsung engineers of the ecosystem, recycling waste into life. Their humble strength echoing the balance that holds all living things together. Leafcutter ants use their jaws as surgical tools. Deep in the forests of the Americas, leafcutter ants harvest fragments of leaves far larger than themselves. With precision and coordination, they cut the leaves using jaws so sharp and strong that scientists compare them to surgical scalpels. Each ant's mandibles contain zinc and manganese that harden the edges, giving them metallic strength. They move in endless processions, carrying their harvest high above their heads like green sails. The leaves are not eaten directly, but used to feed a hidden fungal garden within the nest. These ants farm fungus with meticulous care, trimming, cleaning, and nurturing it as a food source for their colony. Their jaws, so delicate and exact, shape entire ecosystems by cycling nutrients and pruning vegetation. Watching them work is to witness a living machine, ancient and tireless, carving purpose from the forest, one perfect cut at a time. Some wasps sting caterpillars to paralyze them for their larvae. In nature's most haunting nursery, some wasps use other living creatures as cradles for their young. A female wasp locates a caterpillar, stings it with precision, and injects venom that paralyzes without killing. She then lays her eggs upon or within the motionless host.
When the larvae hatch, they feed on the caterpillar tissues in careful order, avoiding vital organs until the final stage. The victim remains alive until the cycle is nearly complete. This delicate balance of horror and biology ensures the larvae's safety and nutrition. Over time, the adult wasp emerges from what was once its protector and prison. It is an ancient pattern written into instinct itself, both cruel and efficient. Yet within its cold design lies the pure logic of life continuing through whatever means evolution provides, a quiet testament to the complexity and strangeness that shape existence. Butterflies drink mineral-rich mud to stay healthy. Beneath their delicate grace, butterflies possess practical needs that lead them to unexpected places. Along the edges of puddles and riverbanks, they gather to drink from damp soil, in a behavior called mud puddling. The mud contains salts and minerals that are absent from flower nectar, but vital for the butterfly's metabolism and reproduction. Males especially rely on these nutrients to produce stronger offspring, and they often share them with females during mating. In tropical regions, hundreds of butterflies can gather in shimmering clusters, their wings flashing in unison as they sip from the earth. This scene, both humble and beautiful, connects sky to soil, color to sustenance. The butterflies remind us that even the most ethereal lives are bound by the physical world, drawing strength and life from the quiet chemistry of the ground beneath their wings. Cicadas sing louder as the temperature rises. The sound of cicadas is the voice of heat itself. Their song, produced by rapid vibrations of drum-like organs on their abdomen, grows louder and faster as the air warms. Each pulse of sound is driven by tiny muscles that contract in rhythm with the temperature. On cool mornings, the song is sluggish and soft, but by afternoon, as sunlight thickens the air, the chorus swells into a roar that fills the trees. In some places, the combined call of 1 million cicadas can reach volumes greater than heavy machinery. To humans, it may sound chaotic, yet to cicadas, it is communication, a coded message of mating and territory. The link between warmth and music makes their voices a living thermometer, echoing the breath of summer itself. Their chorus is not noise, but the earth humming softly to its own rhythm of heat and life. A cockroach's brain is spread throughout its body. The intelligence of a cockroach lies not in a single brain, but in a network of nerve clusters distributed throughout its body. These ganglia allow it to move, react, and even continue functioning after severe injury. This design explains its legendary ability to survive decapitation for days, controlling motion and reflexes independently of the head. Each segment of its body contains a measure of awareness, giving the cockroach a strange resilience and adaptability. It can navigate obstacles, sense danger, and find food even when partly injured. Scientists studying these networks have discovered remarkable efficiency in the insect's design, where survival depends not on thought, but on pure coordination. What seems monstrous to us is simply a masterpiece of distributed intelligence, a life form that endures through simplicity and structure. The cockroach is less a single creature and more a collection of instincts woven together into motion. Male bees die immediately after mating. In the quiet order of the hive, the life of a male honeybee or drone ends with sacrifice. His only purpose is to mate with the queen, and when that moment comes, it is both his triumph and his end. During mating, the drone's reproductive organs detach, killing him almost instantly. The queen continues her flight, storing his genetic gift to sustain the colony for years. The drones that never mate are later driven from the hive as winter approaches, their work complete before it truly began.
This cycle of devotion and death may seem harsh, but it ensures the strength and continuity of the colony. The hive thrives through roles perfectly balanced between life and loss. The drone's brief existence becomes part of a collective immortality where the individual perishes, but the lineage lives on, carried forward in the golden hum of bees at work. Some beetles use gas bubbles to float to the surface of water. Beneath ponds and slow-moving streams, certain beetles trap air bubbles to control their position in the water. These pockets of air cling to their bodies, acting like tiny balloons that can be adjusted for buoyancy.
By changing the size or placement of the bubble, the beetle can rise or sink with remarkable precision. Some species even store these bubbles under their wing cases, where the air gradually exchanges oxygen with the surrounding water, functioning as a natural scuba system. This adaptation allows them to hunt, hide, and rest beneath the surface without needing to swim constantly upward. The glimmer of their bubbles under the light gives them a jewel-like appearance, flickering with reflections of sky and leaf. In their silent world, physics and biology intertwine, turning survival into an elegant act of balance and breath. Fire ant colonies can merge and cooperate across vast areas. Among the many marvels of insect societies, fire ants stand out for their ability to form super colonies that stretch for miles. When conditions are favorable, separate nests recognize one another as kin through shared chemical signatures and merge into massive cooperative networks. Within these extended colonies, workers move freely between nests, exchanging food and information. This unity allows them to dominate ecosystems, overwhelming competitors with sheer numbers and coordination. During floods, fire ants link together in living rafts, forming floating islands that protect the queen and brood until the waters recede. Their cooperation blurs the line between individuals and collective, creating a living organism composed of thousands of minds acting as one. Though feared for their sting, their organization is a marvel of unity and communication, showing how the smallest creatures can achieve extraordinary feats through cooperation and purpose. The Titan beetle can snap pencils in half with its jaws. In the humid forests of South America lives a creature of astonishing strength, the Titan beetle. Reaching nearly 20 centimeters in length, it is one of the largest insects on Earth. Its mandibles are so powerful that they can break pencils or even pierce human skin with ease. Yet despite its fearsome appearance, the Titan beetle feeds on little as an adult, devoting its brief life above ground to reproduction. Its larval stage, hidden within rotting wood, can last for years, during which it grows into a legend of endurance. When it finally emerges, it moves slowly and deliberately, guided by instincts older than civilization. Its glossy brown shell catches the dim light of the forest, and its heavy wings hum like a machine. The Titan beetle is a living reminder of the strength that can exist quietly within the forgotten corners of the world. Ants can stitch wounds using their mandibles. In the dense jungles of Africa, soldiers of certain ant species are known to close wounds using their powerful jaws. Indigenous hunters have long observed and even used these ants for emergency medicine. When placed on a wound, the ant instinctively bites down, its mandibles locking tight across the edges of the skin. Once the bite is secure, the body of the ant is removed, leaving the head in place as a natural suture. The jaws can remain clamped for hours, holding the wound closed until healing begins.
This remarkable instinct evolved to help injured members of the colony survive battles and return to work. It is a living demonstration of how evolution refines even aggression into cooperation. Each bite, both fierce and healing, reflects the intricate intelligence of life adapting to its own needs in endlessly inventive ways. Butterflies can travel across continents generation by generation. Some butterflies embark on migration so long that no single individual completes the journey. The monarch butterfly, for example, travels from the northern regions of North America to the mountain forests of Mexico, a distance of thousands of kilometers. Along the way, generations rise and fall, each continuing where the last left off. The final generation finds the ancestral destination without ever having seen it before, guided by inherited memory written deep within their genes. The continuity of their flight is a living chain across both time and distance. Scientists still study how they navigate so precisely, suspecting a mix of the sun's position, the Earth's magnetic field, and an internal sense of direction. Their migration transforms the sky into an invisible highway of color and purpose, connecting continents through delicate wings that carry the story of survival across generations. Some beetles play dead so convincingly they fool predators. When danger approaches,
Certain beetles collapse instantly, legs curled, body motionless, as if life has left them. This behavior, called thanatosis, can last for minutes or even hours. Predators often lose interest in unmoving prey, mistaking it for something lifeless or spoiled. Some beetles enhance the illusion by releasing foul odors or stiffening their bodies completely. Once the threat passes, they spring back to motion as if revived from death itself. This simple act of deception has saved countless lives through the ages. It demonstrates that intelligence in nature often takes forms of stillness and patience rather than strength or speed. In the quiet theater of the forest floor, a beetle's imitation of death becomes its triumph over fate, a trick of survival perfected through stillness and time. A dragonfly's wings beat hundreds of times per second. The flight of a dragonfly is one of nature's most mesmerizing performances. Each of its 4 wings moves independently, capable of beating hundreds of times per second. This allows the dragonfly to hover, dart, reverse, and even fly backward with unmatched precision. The mechanics of its flight are so advanced that engineers study them to design new aircraft and drones. Dragonflies can intercept prey mid-air with perfect timing, guided by a neural system that calculates motion faster than any human reflex. To watch one glide over water is to see the physics of grace itself. The whisper of its wings cups through air like a melody of movement and balance. Dragonflies have flown this way for over 300 million years, unchanged in their perfection, each one an echo of a time when the first wings turned sky into sanctuary. Termite kings live their entire lives beside their queens. Deep inside the heart of a termite mound lies a chamber where a king and queen live together for decades. Unlike most insects, termites maintain a lifelong partnership between their royal pair. The queen grows enormous as her body fills with eggs, sometimes laying thousands each day. Beside her, the king remains constant, fertilizing the eggs and helping care for the colony. Their relationship is not fleeting, but enduring, built upon shared purpose. Around them, workers tend and feed their rulers, maintaining a perfect climate within the mound. The air circulates through a labyrinth of vents, the temperature steady and warm. Together, the royal pair becomes the living heart of an empire that may last generations. In their dim, silent chamber, they embody devotion and stability, a reminder that even in the smallest kingdoms, love and duty can be eternal.
Certain flies mimic bees to avoid predators. The world of insects is full of imitation, and few examples are as striking as the flies that disguise themselves as bees. Their bodies are covered in fine yellow hairs. Their wings move in familiar rhythms, and their buzzing mimics the hum of a real hive member. Yet they possess no stinger, no weapon at all. This form of mimicry, called Bayesian mimicry, protects them from predators who avoid anything resembling a bee. The illusion is so convincing that even humans often mistake them at a glance. Some species even copy the gentle bobbing flight pattern of bees to perfect the deception. Through this borrowed identity, they thrive in safety, feeding freely on nectar without fear. It is one of evolution's most elegant tricks, where survival is achieved not through strength, but through the artistry of resemblance and disguise. Some caterpillars make clicking sounds to communicate. Hidden among the leaves, certain caterpillars communicate not with color or scent, but with sound. By rubbing parts of their body together or tapping their mandibles against leaves, they produce faint clicking or drumming noises. These signals can warn rivals, deter predators, or call for assistance from ants that protect them. Researchers listening closely with specialized equipment have discovered entire acoustic dialogues taking place within trees inaudible to human ears. The clicks travel through plant tissue like quiet Morse code carrying messages through branches and stems. For such small creatures, the complexity of this communication is astonishing. Each sound reveals a miniature world of cooperation and defense, a hidden network of voices whispering beneath the surface of the forest. It is a reminder that language exists in many forms, from light and scent to vibration and sound, shared even by the tiniest lives. Bees can detect the Earth's magnetic field. Beyond their vision and scent, bees possess an extraordinary sense.
the ability to detect the Earth's magnetic field. Tiny particles of magnetite within their bodies act as natural compasses, helping them navigate between hive and flower with perfect precision. This magnetic sensitivity complements their reliance on sunlight and polarized light patterns in the sky. Even on cloudy days, bees find their way home, guided by invisible forces older than life itself. Scientists have confirmed that bees adjust their orientation based on magnetic cues, proving that their navigation system rivals that of migratory birds. Within their simple appearance lies a world of hidden senses tuned to the pulse of the planet. Each flight is guided not just by instinct, but by a deep connection to the Earth itself, a dance between biology and magnetism that has endured for millions of years. The earwig protects its eggs like a mother bird. Among the many insects that scatter their eggs and abandon them, the earwig stands apart. A mother earwig guards her clutch with fierce devotion, cleaning each egg to prevent mold and moving them to warmer spots when the temperature drops. She defends them from predators, tending her brood day and night. Even after they hatch, she continues to feed and protect the young until they can fend for themselves. This rare maternal care is a window into the tender side of insect life, where instinct becomes affection. The sight of an earwig sheltering her offspring beneath her body contradicts every cold stereotype of the insect world. Within the dark soil and hidden crevices, her quiet vigilance is a gesture of love as old as motherhood itself. Soft and patient, as enduring as the instinct to protect what we bring into being. Some ants rescue wounded nestmates from battle. Among certain ant species, compassion takes a surprising form.
When soldiers are injured in combat, their nestmates carry them back to the colony rather than leaving them to die. Once inside, other ants clean their wounds with mouth secretions that contain antimicrobial properties, reducing the risk of infection. Experiments show that rescued ants have a significantly higher chance of survival. This behavior suggests a level of cooperation once thought impossible in creatures so small. To the colony, each life has value, not as an individual, but as part of the whole. These acts of care strengthen the group's resilience and unity. It is a simple, wordless kindness written in instinct, showing that empathy is not exclusive to humanity, but arises naturally wherever cooperation sustains survival. In the silent chambers beneath the earth, even the smallest hearts remember how to help one another. The oldest known insect fossils are hundreds of millions of years old. The story of insects stretches back almost to the dawn of life on land. The oldest known insect fossils date to more than 400 million years ago, a time when the world was still covered in vast forests of ferns and towering horsetail plants. These early insects were small and wingless, crawling among primitive vegetation long before the first dinosaurs appeared. Over the ages, they evolved wings, colors, societies, and songs, filling every corner of the planet. Their endurance through extinction after extinction is a testament to adaptability unmatched in the animal kingdom. Each modern insect carries traces of that ancient lineage within its form. To study them is to look backward through time itself, into the memory of the earth. They are living fossils of motion and purpose, proof that life's first whispers have never truly fallen silent. And now, as the last wings settle and the hum of the world grows still, let your thoughts drift like soft feathered moths through the night. The forests, the meadows, the quiet soil beneath us, all whisper the same endless story. Life, small and tireless, building, mending, glowing, and dreaming. In the dark, their worlds continue unseen,
woven together by movement too gentle for our eyes to follow. Every leaf holds an architect, every patch of moss a tiny explorer. Close your eyes and imagine the shimmer of beetle shells, the golden close of fireflies, the secret murmur of a hive alive with purpose. The earth itself breathes through these delicate lives, a rhythm of renewal that never stops, even when the rest of the world sleeps. If you enjoyed this quiet journey, I invite you to like, subscribe, or share a thought below. It helps others find their way here too, one sleepy soul at a time. Now, rest. Let your mind drift through the soft, hidden gardens of the night, and let the gentle world of wings and whispers carry you into sleep. Soft, wondrous, and still. Good night.